Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about The Science of Stephen King by Meg Hafdahl and Kelly Florence. This is from Skyhorse Publishing. There you go. And this is, it says on the cover, the truth behind Pennywise, Jack Torrance, Carrie, Cujo, and more iconic characters from the master of horror. So what this is a science book in the sense that science is used in its broadest definition, which is the gathering of knowledge, I suppose. This isn't, hard physics and chemistry and biology. This is just bits of knowledge, for lack of a better way to put it. And on the back, it's got some, back cover copy, but it says, how does lack of sleep affect the human body, like in insomnia? Is it possible for horrific creatures to exist, like in Night Shift? What is the science behind curses and legends, like in Dreamcatcher and Thinner? So this particular book covers Stephen King, obviously, and it's broken up into sections and then chapters, 70s, 80s, 90s, etc., covers everything from Carrie, that's chapter 1. Let's go all the way to chapter 30, The Institute. So it covers a whole bunch of stuff. And basically, they use these Stephen King novels or stories, because sometimes they talk about short stories, as a jumping off point to discuss different things in the world. I don't know how else to put that. So, let's see. In Carrie, they talk about, I think this is the one where they talk about menstruation. Because they do have two other books. They have The Science of Monsters and The Science of Women in Horror. And I believe The Science of Women in Horror, maybe The Science of Monsters, both of them have some Stephen King stuff in there as well. I know Carrie actually is in The Science of Women in Horror, because it's in the chapter on witches. So I wasn't sure which Carrie chapter this was, but it talks about like the history of menstruation, which is a weird thing to say. The history of the understanding of menstruation. I don't know. So that's one of the things it talks about in this one for Carrie. And then in The Shining, they talk about addiction and things. And there are a bunch of interviews in here. So under The Shining, they talk to a crisis therapist, Sarah Melendez. And there's a nice little interview with her to talk about addiction and different things. And the book also has these little fact snippets peppered throughout. And there's some pictures of different things. So I'm not going to go over, everything every subject that they cover, every book that they cover. It's just, let's see, they talk to a beer brewing enthusiast when they talk about the story Gray Matter. I know they talk to an aura photographer, a former science teacher, a cyber specialist. Let's see. Who did they talk to? A clairvoyant. Did I mention that already? So again, lots of interesting interviews. I'm just sort of flipping around. Oh, this one I liked. They talked to Dr. James Hedberg, a physicist and director of the City College of New York Planetarium. That's for 11/22/63. So they're talking to the scientist about time travel. I really like a lot of his answers. It's a fun interview. So obviously they talk about 11/23/60. What did I just say? I always get it wrong. 11/22/63. Got to get those numbers straight. They talk about Duma Key, Gwendy's Button Box. Oh yeah, they interview Richard Chismar. He's an author, creator of Cemetery Dance magazine. And in the dark half, they talk about conjoined twins and Again, I can't go over every subject they talk about, or I would just sit here looking at this book, trying to tell you everything that's in it. What I can say is it's a fun, well-written, entertaining book. It's not, this is never going to be a science textbook. It's more of a, it's I don't want to say light, because I don't want it to just sound like it's some fluffy little book. It's a book that takes our love of horror, and in this particular case, our love of Stephen King, uses his books, uses his story as a launching pad to discuss some interesting subjects. You may learn some things that you'd never heard before. You get some expert opinions on different things. If, could this thing that happened in this Stephen King story actually happen? If not, why not? If it could, how? And again, covers a wide variety of topics. Just as their two previous books, which I have read, The Science of Monsters, The Science of Women in Horror, both good books, both just interesting. I like reading about different things. Gathering knowledge, you can't go wrong if you're learning something, even if it's not necessarily something you're going to apply in your everyday life. It's just good to know things, in my opinion. And this is the kind of sort of pop culture science stuff that I like. I have a lot of books that are like the science of something. Not as many as my philosophy pop culture books, but I have a lot of these science of types of things. And these are good. Their whole series, all three. They're actually working on a fourth one now. Yeah, I recommend it. I think, again, did not check Goodreads ahead of time. I gave it a 4 or a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. If you're a Stephen King fan and you're just interested in some general knowledge, interesting facts, things you may not have heard of or known before, or if you're the type of person that just wants to read something that might throw some knowledge into your noggin, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It's interesting. I dig this series. As I said, I've read all 3 books so far, and I'm looking forward to the 4th. When I hold the book up like this, does it mute my voice? I don't know. But anyway, there you go. It's The Science of Stephen King by Meg Hafdahl. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Kelly Florence, great writing pair. They have a podcast, Horror Rewind podcast. I've listened to that a few times. It's pretty fun. So I definitely recommend this. All right. And, it's difficult you can't really spoil a nonfiction book, can you? So I didn't have to worry about that. Anyway, there you go. The Science of Stephen King. So if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers, but be polite, post a spoiler warning. Again, it's nonfiction, not really any spoilers. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to check out any of my social media stuff, at Twitter, I am at Ronin5757. On Instagram, where I just post pictures of books and comics and games that I've bought with the occasional cat thrown in. That is Eric Smith 5757. ERIKSMITH 5757. That's my Instagram. So there you have it. The Science of Stephen King. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.